Marshall DSL 201. This is a 20 watt guitar amplifier, twin channel, and this is in, it's actually from the shop, this is in for the channel switching is supposed to be faulty on it, so we're going to have a look at it. Hopefully it's a quick fix. So we've just got, if we just have a look, basic thing, we've got gain, treble, middle, bass, clean channel, overdrive, usual Marshall deal here. We've got reverb, FX mix, which will obviously be the send and returns on the back. We've got master volume there. So these are well popular amp. These, you either love them or you hate them. Personally, I think they're all right what they are. Let's see then. So the channel switching appears to be working. It does appear to be loose though. You see all the LEDs moving about when I press the button. Well, the lights are working anyway. Let's see if I've got any signal going through it. Appears to be working, doesn't it? At a glance, but that does all look a bit loose in there, so I think we'll have that out the chassis and have a bit of a gleg at what's going on. Right out the case, and we can see straight away all this is loose, so I think we'll have that off and just check it. Check the wiring on it, on the plug, and see if there's any dry joints on the bottom, or is it just relying on ground and it's a poor ground because the screws are loose. Let's just have a look. Well, they are ground posts, you can see there, so I would guess that's probably what's wrong. We look there and there, you can see. Let's have a look. So I have to put some more powerful glasses on to have a look at that. That all looks okay. Yeah, that looks fine. So I think that's all that's wrong with that, you know. I think that is losing ground on there. We could test that on Bully's prize board. Or you just pop it on that bit of paper there. We've isolated it from ground and it won't touch anything else. Probably do it on standby. Flick it on standby. Oh no, they are working. You can see there. I can hear the relays clicking. Don't know then. Switch off. We'll put those back on. Let's see if we've got some, just pull it out of the wall. Let's just see if we've got any star washers to go on that, stop it coming loose again. You might have to put them underneath, because knowing my luck, I'll put those on and then we won't be able to slide it in the case. This isn't going to be easy, is it? Oh, there we go. Made a mess of that already. If we don't do something with it, it's just going to keep coming loose. Well, that's one. I'm not quite sure how we're going to get the other one in. Ooh, bulgy. My word, look at him. He's really bulged. Wow. What's that on? Is that the main node 1? Yeah, 100 microfarad, 450 volts, my days. He's doomed. He is. There we go, and hopefully that will stop that coming loose. Again, just check down here, just check around for have a probe around, see if there's any dry joints on it. Again, we only need it on standby, just for the channel switching. That seems to be okay. Nothing seems untoward there. No dry joints. So we've got channel foot switch. We've got. Right. Let's plug into the foot switch. See if there's any problems with that. Well, that all seems to be working now. So the symptom was it didn't work when it was first switched on, and then after about 10 minutes it worked. But the only thing as I say, just that being loose. Doesn't seem to be anything else wrong apart from that capacitor. That is a bit domed. Having said that, it doesn't. Let's plug a speaker into it, see if it's got any capacitance hum. Bit of a problem with that pot. Oh, those really cheapy, nasty things. Those green things. So clearing now. It's not noisy. But very domed up, that one. Don't know then. It looks doesn't look great, but having said that, it's working all right. But it's pushed the you can actually see it's domed up so far. There's actually a split in it there, so I think we are going to have to change that, aren't we? And this is shop stock, so obviously it's going to be sold to a customer. I don't think we can really leave that like that, so I think that will have to be changed. But that all seems to be working now. So I've just spotted another problem now. This tube, the paint's turning white on it there. That's running really hot. So there is a problem there as well. That doesn't look good, does it? At all. Check that out, have a closer look. My days. He didn't want to come out, did he? And you can see the paint on that one there. So he's not a well bunny. Might just stick him in the tube tester and have a look at him. We can see he tests okay, and he doesn't appear to have any. In fact, he tests very well, look at that, and doesn't have any shorts, but he has been baked. There's no actual issues with him, as in shorts or anything like that, but that has been running considerably hotter than the other one. Speaking of, you either love them or you hate them, these JJs are much similar, really. Let me just bow off some of that light so we can see. So again, let's test this one. You see it coming up. Again, he tests okay. In fact, the other one tests better than this one, and that's been baked. 85, isn't enough. There's no shorts on that either. But yes, that's had some heat, hasn't it? So that needs investigating, because if there's a problem on it, it will just burn out the tube eventually. Right, I'm just going to do some tests on this now and just check to see what's happening with that tube. So pin 2, can't see the meter there, can you? See if I can move it into shot. Put it on here. So pin 2, -16. Let's try the other one. Same bias voltage. We'd expect that though. pin 7, 391, it's a bit high, isn't it, that? 392, 91, so that's 235 volts on the mains, so there's some to go there. Blimey, they're cooking those. That's very high. So centre tap, is that centre tap down there? Yes it is. Right, so just going to move the meter back that way a little. That pin 7. Maybe that's not centre tap then. That one's centre tap, try that one. Ah, that's better. So we've got 5 across there. And 5 across there. 5.1 and 5.6. So that seems a bit high as well, but we'll have to do the I'll have to measure the resistance on the windings of the transformer. Right, I've just done the bias on this amp. We've got on the burnt tube side, we've got 10.27 watts idle. It's fixed bias, this amp, and on the other side we've got 10 watts, so they're really well matched. Just a little bit, running a little bit over, but my word, that plate voltage is really high on those, really high. I'm surprised those JJs have stood that. Just not necessary to have that sort of plate voltage, is it? It's just, there's one thing going a bit over, but that's 100 volts over nearly. So this is the bias preset here, I'm guessing. I think if they were wired at cathode bias like that, I think those tubes would have said good night within about 20 minutes of being put in the amp. Right. So I'll just show you what I'm doing now. So we've got 5.7 going on there. I'm going to turn this preset. See if that goes down. It is going down. So I'm going to turn that down to about 5. You see, the only problem with doing this, of course, is there's such high plate voltage on there now. As I decrease this, I'm just increasing that plate voltage even more, because as we reduce the current we get more voltage. Right, so let's just see what that is now. Going across there, we've dropped that to 5 volts. So we'll drop that 0.6. Right, so I've dropped the bias down to about 9 watts now idle, and we've got a whopping 402 volts on those tubes. So that's pretty daunting, really. It's almost like they've used the same transformer for that they've used for the 40 watt version and just stuck it on here. And we've obviously not got enough current to drop the voltage. But not much we can do with that. It's just, I don't reduce, the more I reduce the bias, the more plate voltage we'll have on those tubes, so kind of compromise there, but not great. So the only thing left now is to change that capacitor, and I've ordered that. I'll just have to wait for that to come, and I've just been looking at getting this board out, and that doesn't look fun, because there's no, I wonder if this comes apart because there's no movement, there's no space between either side of the board to get that out, so I can't really see at this moment in time unless this front or something comes off. Let's just unplug it. And it does. Yep. Oh, that's not too bad then. Just loosen the, yeah. So we've got, if we just have a look, just stick it up on there. So you can see we've got screws going along here. So if we loosen those off out, I think we should be able to get that out. That should be pretty easy if we could do that. That should be easy, but until we get the cap, we can't really do anything. Right, let's see if we can get this Marshall apart. So we've got the capacitor here, and I've also ordered a relay because I suddenly thought that in the shop when Lee tested this, it's quite cold in there at times, and obviously much warmer in a house, and I was kind of thinking that maybe when that relay gets really cold it gets a bit faulty. I don't know, but I thought, while I've got the board out, I'll just change it, because the problem was not working for the first 10 minutes. That was the channel switching. Look at the transformer, my days. That is so tiny. Just to give you an idea of, that's a tube shield of the amp. Got the board out, and dry joint, dry joint, dry joint, another one, crappy Ross compliant solder, no doubt, another one there. There's one there. And there is all of them there. So what we got on here, it's got a bit fairly quite burnt as well, those two. Those are the output tubes, I think. Yes, they are. Let's just go along here. Those look okay. So again, the ones that's had the most heat, the preamp tubes, don't get as hot, as you know. So that doesn't look too bad, but those two are very poor. So we need to have a look around and try and find any dry joints. So the only problem with taking this board out this way with the front off, it's a good idea to get it out relatively quickly without much fuss, although it did take a bit of getting out, but not too much, probably because I was too tentative with it and didn't want to break it. But it's hard to see if these are dry jointed under this lip here. So we'll get the capacitor out, and the capacitor is there. And then we'll change the relay, and then we'll solder those up. We'll have to suck all that stuff off as well. So the way I always do these tube sockets is I will go around, touch them up with the leaded solder, and then I'll suck it all off and then redo them with the leaded, because the last thing you want is a mix of those two solder compounds. They do not mix well, and we'll just have more dry joints 3 months down the line. Mind you, they've lasted well, really. This amp must be pushing 20 years old. So the first ones of these came out in the early 2000s. Right, we've got the cap out, and you can see how domed that is, and a slight splitting around there. Well, there you go, tested the old cap. I don't know if you can see that there on the screen. 100.6 microfarad ESR, no ohms. So that cap tests perfectly, but unfortunately it's a case of how long it's going to last. But that's yeah, the times you find that when you see caps like that, either leaking or they're bulged at the top, and yet they test perfect. But you can't leave it in, it's just not reliable. And that's the new one. 91.19 microfarad ESR 0, 0.2 loss. It's okay, but and to be fair, 100 microfarad is a lot on a guitar amp. Could have got away with a 47 in there, really, probably, but we'll put the right one in there. There we go, that's the new one soldered in there. So there's the relay that's going in, and the relay is here, I think. Remember what I was saying about not being able to get to those terminals under the board. I think I'm going to have that front off, I think, because I don't want to put all this back together and then find out I've got dry joints on the controls. And there we go, that we've got that off now, and there is one there, looks like it's not soldered very well. And there we go, that's the relay changed there. Right, now we're going to have a look at these sockets. So the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to tin all of these with leaded solder. Now we'll just get all the flux off. And there we go. So I'm not going to show you both of them, just that one. So yeah, don't cut corners with them, and just, you know, just touch them up with the solder, because if you don't get that unleaded solder off, you just won't get a good enough solder joint, and I'll guarantee you within 4 to 6 months you'll have problems again. Right, if we look at these two here, they've got like ball bearings, that one. That's because some of the solder, the leaded solder, is still left in there, so they've got to be done again until you get them right. It's a bit fiddly getting it back together, but we did have to take the front off again. You can't get these back in. So just a word of warning, if you're working on one of these, if you decide to take the front off and draw the board out, you can't draw it back in, it won't go back in. You have to take the front off, so you might as well just take the front off anyway. But there we go, we just get it back in its case and we'll have a bit of a listen. Right, I've got this Marshall. Let me give it a demo. Try the overdrive channel. Let's give it maximum gain, madam. done now is I've wound the gain up on the clean channel. So there we have it, the Marshall DSL 201. Not a bad sounding amp. So there we go, so a relay, capacitor and some dry joints on that one, and it's all good to go. So that'll do it for this one. Thanks for watching, you all take care, and I'll see you all in another video. Bye bye for now.